Hey, the woman, she doesn't have her own journey. She's the destination. The guy comes and gets her. Well, it can be nice to be claimed, but would you be satisfied with that? Listen, I'm going to talk to you about an alternative to the hero's journey. Hero's journey is a fantastic model for personal transformation, but it's not going to apply at all times. And there's an alternative model, the heroine's journey, that is incredibly rich. So I'm going to give you a little bit about how that term came to be coined, how that journey is different than the hero's journey, and why it's so relevant for these times for both women and men. I'm Karina Howell. I'm a narrative guide that helps women reclaim their power by accessing ancient archetypes, myths, and living a bigger story. So let's get into how this idea of the heroine's journey came about. So Maureen Murdoch, she was a student of Joseph Campbell's, graduate student. She is a Jungian analyst. She is still practicing and still writing, and she's a fabulous memoir teacher too, an author, and she was one of my first memoir teachers. And she asked Joseph Campbell a question, very relevant at the times. It was the 70s, at the latest the 80s, and she asked Joseph Campbell, what is the relevance of the hero's journey for women? And Joseph Campbell says, woman is the destination. I mean, look at Odysseus. He gets back from Troy, is encountering all kinds of obstacles and monsters and sea sirens, and he just wants to get back to his wife Penelope, whose job is to be there and be chaste and not be letting these other dudes come and get a piece of her action. The woman is the source. Now, yeah, cool. Woman is the source. I mean, that's good. But as human women, we go on our journeys, right? And so Maureen Murdoch was not satisfied with this. This was not what she was seeing with her own psychoanalytic client, seeing the types of journeys that they were taking and the challenges that they were needing to overcome, and also copacetic with the ancient myths and stories that have been our blueprint for overcoming challenges and becoming a whole, empowered person since time immemorial. So what Maureen Murdoch does is she traces a blueprint that has some parallels to the hero's journey, as it does, because it's found in these myths that have a female protagonist, and they have the similar source to the hero's journey. So you've got in the hero's journey, you've got your call to adventure, refusing the call, going out, finding allies, defeating adversaries, and being in the, it varies by story, being in the belly of the whale, then finally coming out triumphant, bringing a gift back to your community, and you're the leader, you're the king, other people recognize you, it's an external journey. And there is a time and place for this journey for both men and women. So Maureen Murdoch notes that there's often this break with the feminine in order for women to go out and do part of that external journey. So she has this elegant map: break with the feminine, finding allies, overcoming adversaries and challenges, finding a boom. It could be a PhD, it could be a wonderful career, it could be a trip around the world. It is infinite. But in the end, you are somewhat, she calls it disconnected from our true nature, which is a little extreme, but she's saying that there is a feminine side of the psyche, that we'll have a need for connection to nature and other women, and that feminine side of nurturance, and we might become burned out. This won't happen to everybody. Listen, some people I know in corporate, some women, they're go, 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 go. Maybe up until a certain point. right? So it's not everybody, but for those that need it, this is incredibly uh, empowering to know that you have not failed if you need to descend into your own psyche, to go into a healing place. And then you get to befriend that we call darkness, grief, loss, these emotions that we're scared of in our go society. So once the woman goes into that underworld, it's called the forest in the fairy tales, it's below the sea, she emerges now connected with the feminine and the masculine. And it can be the own women in your family, it could be a circle of women, and she emerges the queen of both. She emerges as more whole and integrated. You're able to handle your emotional side, and you're able to get stuff done. So it's very holistic and very empowering, and it is rooted in ancient mythology, which is the blueprint for transformation that preceded the type of psychoanalysis that people now seek out. And we do have this in our modern stories. If we think of Wizard of Oz, Dorothy, she is ejected from her home. She does not go out and fight. She finds allies. She finds a fairy godmother, but she keeps going bravely and ultimately finds that the Wizard of Oz ain't it. She had that power all along, and she just clicks her heels. More recently, the Barbie movie, also involving wardrobe and goes out into the male world, the default world. But the most illustrative are the ancient myths. Okay, this is where all of these modern stories came from. And so if we remember the myth that a lot of us learned as school children, and maybe in high school, learning the Greek myths, Persephone. She is the maiden. She is a little goddess, and she is the daughter of Zeus, the god on high, and Olympus, the big boss of them all, and Demeter, the goddess of the harvest. And Persephone is enjoying life with her other nymphs in the meadow, and she is rudely abducted by Hades, god of the underworld, okay? He brings her down there to the place where people go when they are not living anymore. This is not where she belongs. Her mom protests to her dad, and her dad's just like, listen, that's my brother. He's god of the underworld. Just what am I going to do? And so Demeter is absolutely devastated. She's raising hell up on earth. Meanwhile, Persephone, she adapts to life in the underworld, and with time, as it passes, she becomes the queen. She is now a wife, and she is the queen of the underworld who greets new souls when they come down into Hades. Demeter keeps raising hell. Yeah, there's no crops, there's no bloom. Okay, let's put an end to this. Let her come back up. But you know what? It's too late, because Persephone has already tasted the pomegranate seed. She's already eaten from the underworld. And so when she comes back up, she is now the queen of both dark and light. She can handle both. So half the year, she is down in the underworld, winter and fall, and the other half, she is up on earth, and we have spring and summer. This is the reality of life on earth. It isn't always go, 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 grow, grow, grow. There is a time for rest and rejuvenation. And this is the wisdom of the heroine's journey. I definitely think it's a journey that men can take, particularly those that are fathers and on the healing and spiritual path, but definitely as women, our bodies require this type of journey at times. Otherwise, we encounter some issues. So all of this is something, if we take consciously, do conscious healing when it's time, it really allows us to emerge the queen, able to handle all that comes out at us, right? Able to nurture ourselves and others, to accept the full range of emotions and get stuff done and keep that focus when time is called for. So this is the first in a Heroine's Journey series that I'm presenting. So be sure to check out the next video, or I do a deep dive in some of the examples that really bring out images that speak to us, that speak to our subconscious, and other blueprints too that have been developed even after Maureen Murdoch's, because there are so many ways of being a woman now, and so many ways that we can expand and heal ourselves and society. So I hope that was helpful. I'm sure many of you have been on these journeys, both hero and heroines. So let me know which journey is most relevant to you. What stage do you think you're at the journey right now? So to be continued. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and have a blessed day.